I'm Phoebe Legere, and welcome to Roulette TV. Tonight, Roulette TV hosts Janene Higgins and Zeena Parkins, a multimedia duo from New York City. With this performance, we are privileged to witness the future of music television. Parkins and Higgins work in concert to create a relational aesthetics that is both beautiful and profound. Ms. Parkins plays an electric harp of her own design. Ms. Higgins makes video art in real time. Roulette TV is honored to present Janene Higgins and Zeena Parkins performing an excerpt from a new work entitled Arch. We just saw an excerpt from Arch, which is your latest full-length piece. Can you tell us about it?
We were trying to think of a topic for this particular performance, and I've always shot lots of bodies. I love shooting women in particular, and structures around New York. And you've always been...
Yeah, I've always had a real interest in architecture, and I work a lot with dancers. So these interests kind of melded together to explore both these topics in this piece, Arch. So.
I kept coming across literature comparing the two also, and you did as well.
Yeah.
Bodies and architecture, and the fact that we use our body as kind of a grounding point for how we see the world and subsequently how we build the world.
I'm glad we finally saw some naked girls on this show. Who was that dancer with that beautiful body?
That's Jennifer Lacey.
How do you establish a relationship between the music and the visuals?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. It's sort of I think that is one of the big issues of our collaboration, and I don't think if that's considered kind of a task or a thing to do, I don't think we've necessarily solved it. We've just kind of made a stab at one possible way of having the two forms meld together. And in this particular case, we're thinking of it as really as a duo, as if it's two musicians playing together. So Janene has an active role as I do as a player. She has an equally active role mixing the video. So that was sort of the concept for this particular duo, that we were thinking about it like two musicians playing together.
So it's like a duet,
right,
between music and art.
Mm-hmm.
But can you tell me about the intersection between your two personalities? Can you talk a little bit about that space between the collaborators where improvisation happens?
Well, maybe in the way that we start a piece by jamming.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you jam in the beginning?
Right, when we're developing the piece. We decide what the piece is going to be on. We both read a lot, we refer
talk a lot.
Right, email, fax, give each other, and ideas emerge to the surface, and then we come together with, I've got some video that I've been thinking about, and I am aware of Zeena's music. I listen to it a lot, and Zeena comes to the rehearsal with musical ideas, and then we'll, without knowing what the other's going to do, that is how we begin. And we videotape our rehearsals, and then
we watch those tapes.
Wow.
And it's usually that there are elements that float to the surface that begin to become fragments that come to the surface from these rehearsal tapes that start becoming the building blocks for the piece.
Janene, you've worked at Vanity Fair in the art department. What is the difference between mass media and experimental media?
Well, I was then and am still a graphic designer, and in graphic design, just the nature of the beast is that it's a creative profession and it's an artistic profession, but you're always creating for someone else. Either I'm making a CD cover for a musician, or I'm making a poster for a film. In any case, there's a client, and there's somebody that is giving me parameters. And also, I have to, it's a communicative art form, so I have to make sure that it's easily understandable for the masses, especially for a magazine like Vanity Fair. And for the video work that I'm doing, I was just feeling, after years of doing this, I felt like I was in a creative profession, but it wasn't enough. And with video work, even though it's a collaboration, my end of it is very much a personal expression that comes more from the heart.
Zeena, I love to watch you play. Your beautiful hands, alternately cruel and caressing. It's as if with this electric harp you've revealed the true voice of the harp, which many of us think of it as a ladylike instrument relegated to an ancillary orchestral role. But somehow with you it suddenly becomes wild, untamed, unsentimental. Can you tell us about this electric harp, this instrument that you invented?
Well, I mean, just to respond to what you just said, I think, the harp and my performances often get cast in this kind of angel-devil dichotomy, which I find a little bit annoying after a while, because there is this, idea that the angels and harps are kind of lumped in one pile somewhere. I mean, my idea for playing the harp was that it just seemed like such a incredible opportunity for different kinds of music, and that it's a rhythm machine, it's a sound machine, and not just thinking of it in ways that had been used before. So I just feel like I've worked on extending what the instrument can do and extended the idea of what the instrument can do.
Can you explain what non-narrative cinema is all about, Janene?
Moi? Non-narrative cinema. Well, what I'm trying to do here is tread that fine line that many experimental filmmakers and video makers have tread over the years, which is my videos aren't entirely abstract. They go in and out of abstraction. Sometimes it's just color. But I'm hoping that there is a progression of action, but not a story. And I have to be very careful that the imagery doesn't veer too close to something that looks like a story if you put a person in it or something, because what I'm fighting against is the traditional idea that many people have of what is a movie. When you go into a theater and there's a big screen, you're going to see a story. And I want to get their attention. I want to convey something other than blops of colors, which can be spectacular. I mean, Brackage or Harry Smith have done completely abstract pieces. What I'm interested in doing in this project is having meaning in it somehow, suggestions of meaning, taking the audience some specific place that maybe they couldn't describe, but they know they've been somewhere on some kind of journey.